this episode, I am answering one of the most common questions I get asked. It's not what my political views are, thank God, or how I maintain high figure months doing what I love, or how I get to work with some of the coolest women on the planet. No. This question is tactical, specific, and dare I say, juicy. It's very juicy. So since this month is Juicy June, after all, I thought the time is now to give it to you straight. Let's go. Welcome to All In with Allie, the podcast for online business owners and entrepreneurs who are ready to create the life and business of their dreams. I'm so happy you are here. Okay, so like I said in the intro, the time is now. I'm going to break down in detail one of the most common questions I get asked. And I understand why I get asked this a lot because I do believe I'm really good at this. I have had a lot of practice with this specific thing. I know what I'm doing when it comes to marketing. And this is one of the most important marketing tactics that you can know how to do for yourself and your business. So I get it. And I'm excited to finally explain to you what my process is around this thing. So what we are going to be talking about today is how the F do I come up with my offer titles and subtitles. Yay! I hope you're excited about this. I genuinely get it. Like, this is not a cute little, like, I get asked this a lot. And I've been asked once. I genuinely get asked this a lot. And I totally get it. And I love that I'm being asked this a lot because that tells me that you also get it. That tells me that you understand how important this part of offer creation is. I will say, obviously, probably the most important thing when it comes to your offer, anything that you put out into the world, the most important thing is that it's coming from a place of integrity, right? What you're selling is what you're going to be providing, and you can actually provide. My freaking headphones keep coming off. There we go. And you can actually, like, you're confident in providing that transformation, right? That's the most important piece, that you're not being a fraud with your offer. But then right after that, a very, very close second is the title of your offer. And the reason why is because if your title sucks or your subtitle, I would also go to say the branding of your offer. If these things are subpar, nobody's going to know anything about your offer because it's not going to stand out to them. And if it's not standing out to them, if they're not looking at it, how are they going to learn about it? You know? So this goes very in line with something that I've said for years, which is if you have their attention, you can have their sale. If you have an offer that gets your ideal client's attention, then they can look at the sales page, they can learn about it, they can ask you questions about it. And then if they want it, they can buy it. But if they're not getting to that point, again, because the title is lame and the branding's lame, you're out of luck. You're hurting yourself. So I'm going to riff to you some of my titles. I just went on my site and I just picked some of them. I have a lot of them, but I just want to give you some examples of what my titles are, just in case you're new to my world or you need a reminder, because this is how I do it. And then I'll be explaining like my process and how I actually come up with these. Because there's definitely a process. There's definitely things that I keep in mind that lead me to, specific ways of creating a title for you. So here are some of my titles. Money Moves. Map your business, monetize your genius. So Money Moves is the title. The subtitle is Map your business, monetize your genius. How to create killer content that sells. Didn't need a subtitle for that. It's pretty self-explanatory. Attract. Catch without the case. Catch without the chase. So Attract was the title, but I added a subtitle, Catch without the chase, to give some context to what I mean by attract. Captivate. Hold the attention, get the sales. Captivate's the title. Hold the attention, get the sales is the subtitle. Time collapse. Magnetize your future next level clients and results now. Time collapse is the title. Magnetize your future next level clients and results now. Subtitle. 10K in a day formula. Self-explanatory. And then my newest offer that I announced this week as I record this is follower to buyer, how to go from cold to sold. a lot of y'all liked that. You thought that was clever. I liked it too, which is why I chose it. So this is actually a perfect, I would say, prereq conversation for my next offer, follower to buyer. So follower to buyer, it's my next LFG class. So if you're in the LFG or all-in membership, you get this class and you can join LFG at any time. It's $99 a month. You can cancel anytime. But this offer is all about how I get sales from social media, my posts, and also my stories and in the DMs, like those three main areas, from my content, from my stories, and from conversations in the DMs. Basically how I take somebody who could be, a brand new follower, which I do this, and it's happened many times. Somebody is brand new to me. We start having a conversation, and next thing you know, they're signing up for whatever I'm selling at the time, or they're asking a question. I drop a link for them. They buy. Cold to sold. So follower to buyer is that process. But part of the reason why I'm able to get people to buy from me, whether they're a brand new follower or they've been following me for, since 2018, is because how I present myself, because of how I brand myself. And part of that is how I title my offers and the branding associated with it. It makes the offer more enticing, right? Like if somebody could genuinely have the best offer in the world, the cure to whatever it is that you are struggling with. But if their offer is lame or their branding sucks and it's just like, I don't know, this doesn't really look legit. I don't really get it. Like I hear what you're saying about it, but like, it just doesn't feel like it's for me. You're not going to buy it. This is why major brands, why they get the sales that they do, because they have, massive, massive marketing teams and marketing geniuses who understand. They do the market research. They do the studies in the control groups with people, and they understand, okay, this color with this phrase pointing out this specific thing, this is going to make a buyer. And luckily for us, we don't have to have degrees in marketing, even though I actually do, but we don't have to in order to be good at what we do, because it really comes down to one sentence. And when you craft your offers, keeping this sentence in mind, you are going to hit the nail on the head more times than not in the creation of something that people actually want to buy. And that sentence is this. You've heard me say it before. But that sentence is, we want to sell people what they want and give them what they need. Sell them the solution to their problem, the transformation, give them how you get them that solution, right? So what I mean by sell them versus give, sell is the marketing. That's your title. That's the thing that you spend the most time talking about. What is in it for them? What is in it for them that they actually want? Not what's in it for them, period. Because some things that's included in your offer, it's great, but people don't care. Things like you get X amount of calls with me and you get, X amount of weeks of support and, whatever, like the logistics of the offer. It's not that it doesn't matter. And it's not that people like fully don't care. Some people will care, like, okay, how much private time do I get with you? Like these things are important. And obviously that highly depends on the level of brand that you have. Because if people don't understand the value that you bring, the value of their time, they're not going to care if they get a call with you or not, unfortunately. Again, that's where your marketing comes in. But what I say, like, sell them what they want. It's that transformation. It's what's in it for them. It's how they come out the other side from buying the thing that you are selling, the thing that they actually want. That's what we're selling. And what we give is the strategy piece, right? It's the strategy piece. So I know what you want. Me, as the owner of my business, I know my ideal client. I know the language that you use. I know how you would word and articulate the problems that you're having. And I know the transformations that you want. Why? Because I've been doing this since 2018. Why? Because I used to be you. I am you in certain instances and certain cycles of my business. So I understand what verbiage to use. And not only that, but like I have a different ideal client than maybe, somebody who would be considered a competitor of mine. And their ideal client is probably different than my ideal client. I use a language that not a lot of business owners use. I feel like it's become a little bit more popular lately, but words like time collapse, captivate, these like what I consider bold, powerful one word titles, like usually not a lot of people go that direction. They might use different verbiage because of their ideal client. So I not only know my ideal client, but I also know who I want my ideal client to be. So that's another thing too. I'm very intentional with the verbiage that I use, with the marketing that I use, because I know that it's going to attract the type of woman that I want to work with. And it's going to repel the woman who probably isn't so much of a good fit of mine, possibly. So anyway, I know what it is that you want. So when I create titles, that's what I focus on. So a really, really good example of this is I am currently wrapping up a 6-week mini mastermind called the 20K per month bootcamp. And it has been so incredible. And like I said, it's 6 weeks. And in this bootcamp, every single week they get a specific, well, not every week, for the first 4 weeks, they got a very specific training, a 20K per month framework, and it was all around obviously like how to create consistent 20K months. And what I taught them was how to create money-making offers, right? Conversations like this, but way, way deeper, how to create money-making offers, how to launch in general, how to like actually like do a proper, good, effective launch that's actually going to make you money, how to launch, based on a model that I teach called the base bonus model, specifically for 20K months. We talked about the power of your energy, right? So like I gave these very specific trainings in this framework. And then on top of that, they got weekly calls with me as a group where we all came together, and then ongoing Voxer. And then they each got 1 or 2 calls. I can't remember what all was, included. But how I got them in the room was by selling them a 20K per month transformation. Because I knew that if you are not making 20K per month, I know that's a big goal of yours. That's a big goal. And it's one of those gateways, one of those moments in business that typically an entrepreneur strives for, right? That 20K per month. And I remember being there. I remember like, oh, that's like whenever I cracked the 10K per month code, I was like, oh my gosh, 20, I can't even imagine. I remember working so hard to get to that. And then nailing it. And then like, I can't remember the last time we have, years since we've not hit, at least 20K months. So I get it. I totally get it. But in the group, we are talking about everything. We are talking about taxes. We are talking about boundaries with friends and family. We are talking about having and navigating complicated relationships with loved ones. We're talking about clients who want refunds or who aren't happy with the work, or wanting to attract a different client, or wanting to pivot a business. What happens when a launch doesn't go well? What happens when you sell something and only one person buys? What happens when you're having your best month yet, but you're focused on like hitting, the next thing? Where everything is part of the conversation, because it's all part of what is required to become a business owner who is not only hitting 20K months, but maintaining 20K months. There's so much to discuss. But if I had created an offer that was titled How to Create Offers, Set Boundaries, Reframe Your Taxes, and Manage Your Energy, I would have nobody in the group with me right now. I would have nobody in the group. Those are the things we talk about often. It's a big part of the conversation. Nobody would be in the group because nobody wants that. Some people might understand that they should, or that it's important, but there's a lot of people who don't even realize that they should want that and that that's important. So if that's what I were to market, if I create an offer called How to Create Money-Making Offers, even that's even a pretty good title, but a lot of people would be lost on them, that like, ooh, that's how I would hit 20K months. That's how I'd have 50K months. That's how I'd have, whatever level of revenue. Like it starts there with the offer and the selling and the energy. But that's not what people want. People want the end game, either the money or the impact or the notoriety, or like the fact that they're making, like I said, an impact with people. But the work, they don't want that. They'll do it when you get them in the room. So that's what I mean by when I say give them what they need. So I'm going to use bait, right? So the bait is the transformation that I am providing to you. 20K months. Do you want it or not? And there are some big fish are like, I want that bait. So they get in the room and then I say, gotcha. Now let's talk about selling, and let's talk about what you're putting in your bio, and let's talk about how you're showing up in your stories, and let's talk about what platform you're using to sell your offers on, and let's talk about how you feel about taxes, and let's talk about how you're navigating boundaries in your life and how you're upholding your boundaries in your life. Let's talk about increasing your capacity to hold more in terms of energy of clients, more in terms of money, more in terms of responsibility. This is like, if you want the 20K month, you got to do this. This is the work. And that's what we're doing. That's what we've been doing for 6 weeks. Okay. So the most common mistake that people make here is they don't get to the root of the transformation. They stop before they get to the root of it. So what they'll do is they'll give a shallow transformation. Either they'll miss the transformation altogether and they'll focus on the what they need part, the unsexy part that nobody wants. Like, for example, here's a good example. Let's say you are a therapist and you help people with chronic stress. So where a lot of people go wrong is they will create an offer that's titled Stop Chronic Stress or something similar. But the problem with that is, number one, some people may not even realize that they have chronic stress, believe it or not. Number two, some people might know that they have chronic stress, but they don't want to identify with that, right? They don't want to invest in an offer that links them to this identity of somebody with chronic stress. Number three, it sounds like work. And somebody with chronic stress, probably the last thing that they need on their plate is more work. Okay? So you're already making this a lot harder on you. So what I would ask, if you were my client, I would say, okay, you help people stop chronic stress. Beautiful. When somebody is able to stop being chronically stressed, who do they become? They become less stressed. They become lighter, happier. They become, just an all around nicer human. They don't yell at their kids, they do it less, or, whatever. And it's like, okay, great. And then again, a lot of people, they go wrong because they use the problem. They market the problem. And I want to be clear here because I've talked about this a lot. And sometimes I realize some people realize, or they think what I'm saying is you never mention the problem. You don't, but you can. That's what our sales pages are for. And that's what our marketing is for. So it's not that you can't articulate what the problem is and say, hey, if you're feeling this way, if you're feeling this way, if you're struggling with this specific thing, here's what's going on. Here's how I can help you. That's great marketing, but we don't want to only harp on the problem. Okay. So we're already getting into a conversation that's deeper than what we're going to go into because we're talking about titles here. But anyway, so again, people will focus on the problem with their title. Don't want to do that. But then it's so they're like, oh, okay, so I'll title it Be Happy or the Happy Person Boot Camp or something. And it's like, okay, we're getting somewhere. But when somebody stops becoming chronically stressed, okay, so we know one of the side effects, there's side effects to that, right? So there's you're happier, you're less angsty, you're less moody, you're lighter, we get that. But what's the deeper transformation under that? So I want you to go even deeper. Don't stop at the surface level basic transformation that, somebody in second grade could figure out. What's really in it for them? What's the ripple effect transformation of somebody who you genuinely help reduce their stress to where they do not feel, nor would they say in any way, shape, or form that they are chronically stressed anymore? What is the deep, full transformation of that. Best case scenario. Well, gosh, their whole life could change. They start, living their life again. Maybe they stop accepting bad relationships in their life, or maybe their worthiness increases. They start living their life again and traveling and having more fun. They're more fun to be around. So they're able to maintain better relationships. Like we could go on and on and on. Okay. So what would be a transformation? What would be a title that we could put around that? What's the opposite of stressed? Calm, right? So what if you did like chronically calm? That would be kind of a more tongue-in-cheek type title. So that might not make sense for your brand. That's another thing to consider. Like with me and my brand, I have fun with my brand. My clients know that I have fun with my brand. My clients love that I have fun with my brand. So they're not shaken when they see me drop an F-bomb on a sales page or use AF as part of a title, right? Like, and I have before, I can't think of anything right now, but I know I have before. They understand that there's going to be that tongue-in-cheeky type vibe. But for you, if you're a therapist or a health coach with maybe a more serious brand or composed, I should say, then you wouldn't want to maybe have so much fun. It's not that you can't have fun with your titles, but you would want to make sure that it's on brand for you. So you also could just choose the title Calm. And then the subtitle could be around like how to create a serene or self-assured life, right? The thesaurus is our friend. I use a thesaurus all the time to get ideas for words. I love a good alliteration. But my point is we want to get to that deeper level of transformation. So you would want to ask yourself, okay, if somebody were to get the surface, what is the deeper thing? And then you can create a title around that. And then everything else that I mentioned there, all the other okay, and then, when they're not, when their nervous system isn't a wreck, then they're more healthy. They're sleeping better at night because they're sleeping better. They're all around just more joyful. They're more chemically balanced. All of these things you can put on a sales page. You can mention in your marketing, but the title is that deeper level transformation. Furthermore, one that your ideal client actually wants, and that is going to feel enticing to them. So that's another very important part of this equation. You want your title to spark interest, not only your title, but your branding as well. So for me, anytime I create a new offer, it's going to have different branding than other offers. And this does take some time, but I do all of my marketing myself, all of my branding myself. I actually enjoy it, which is why I do it that way for now. But Canva is my best friend, and their templates is like the best gift that's ever been given to me and to other business owners. It puts you on par with a graphic designer that maybe you can't hire, or that you don't have time to wait to create these incredible graphics for you. So if you are not utilizing Canva and their templates for different types of branding, and to create something that's going to wow and stand out and entice your ideal client, well, you're not putting in enough work. If you want to sell this thing, we got to do the work, and this is part of it. Again, go look at a major brand. If you only knew the amount of time that they put into choosing the components of the fonts that they use and the colors that they use and the packaging and everything that you see as it relates to a specific product or service that they're providing, it would blow your mind. And it's because they know that when they get it right, it's going to be extremely profitable for them. So for us, luckily, we don't have to go through all of that research and development to create something incredible, but it does take some effort, and it certainly takes some knowledge and understanding about your ideal client. And it takes some time to make sure that you are, again, accurately articulating what this offer is and what's in it for your client. So again, how I do this is I have fun with this. This is if I'm going to be talking about something upwards of 2 weeks and promoting it often, I want to be excited to put it out into the world, right? Like I want to be number one proud, but also it's exciting to me. It's like, look at my new baby. Look what I made for you. You know, like I get excited about this too. And I have a lot of fun with it. And when I'm able to land on a title that I'm really proud of, then I'm more excited to share it with you. And I feel more confident in sharing and selling to you. The second thing, I know what it is that you want, and I sell that to you. I sell that greater transformation to you. And then I give you behind the scenes what it is that you need. Another way that you can go about this too, if you have a specific service or product that you feel like people don't even realize that they need yet, right? Like I mentioned when we were talking about the stress example, some people may be so in it, so immersed that they don't even realize, or so used to feeling that level of stress that they don't even realize it's chronic stress, that, or, you know, in a way of like a diagnosis, right? They may just be like, well, this is just how I am. And it's like, it doesn't have to be. So you may have a specific offer that might require some sort of education on your behalf so that people understand why they would want the offer. So they understand, oh, I am the ideal client of this thing, you know? So like, this is where masterclasses are very, very helpful, or podcasts, or, you know, wherever you like to show up and give content. But that's where we would do the educating. We would do the explaining of like, okay, here's how you know you're chronically stressed. Here are the warning signs of chronic stress. Here's the side effects of ongoing chronic stress. Here, you know, like, again, you can do this in a masterclass, in a podcast, in your content, but you want to do those things obviously before you get somebody into an offer, because if they don't understand that they're this person that you made this offer for, they're not going to get into the offer. So side note there. Another thing I want to say also about the conversation around creating a really juicy title around the transformation. I said a few minutes ago that you want to focus on like the best case scenario of the transformation. And what I mean by that is like, if somebody were to come into your world in this offer and do the work, like really do the work and really put in the effort, and they were your star student and they did everything that you would want them to do and you know, the exact way that you would want them to do it, what is their level of transformation? Again, what's the best case scenario? So I get a lot of people get confused about this because they're like, well, I don't want to guarantee anything. I don't want to guarantee anything that I don't know that I can guarantee, because I don't know what somebody is going to do. You know, what if they don't do it? Or what if they don't get the same result? Or, you know, some people could do this or whatever. So we don't want to make a guarantee, because that's important, because you're absolutely right. You can't control, number one, if somebody does the work or not. And number two, everybody has different levels of stuff. You know, there's a spectrum to every issue. So that may not be everybody's best case scenario, depending on what their situation is. But we do want to paint the picture of like what a likely scenario is if you do the work. So like my 20K per month boot camp. Am I guaranteeing that if you do this boot camp with me, you're going to be making 20K months in X amount of time? Absolutely not. But what I am saying is that if you do the work and you keep doing the work, it's only a matter of time. It's only, and one thing that I promoted till I was blue in the face with this particular offer was, and by the way, 20K months is literally tip of the iceberg. Like, you think 20K months is big, it is. But like, if you do what I teach you in this boot camp, you're going to be surpassing 20K months. It's going to make your head spin. Like, so fast, it'll make your head spin. So I'm not saying by this time you're going to be doing this thing, but I'm saying if you do the work, of course you're going to get this result. Why would you not? That's how I got there. That's how my other clients got there. It's not rocket science. It's pretty straightforward-ish. And obviously we all have different offers, but you do want to get to the root of like, what's the best case scenario? And you do want to paint that picture as an opportunity that they have access to if they work with you. Okay. So not complicated, but it definitely takes a certain way of looking at the problem a certain way of coming at your title and your subtitle. Oh, and then the last thing I'll say too, I don't always make a subtitle with my title. If to me, like whenever I was giving the examples in the beginning of the episode, some of the titles like 10K in a day formula, it's self-explanatory. It's spelling out to you what that thing is, how to create killer content. Very clear. That doesn't need a subtitle. Now I do have a sales page that goes, more in depth, and I'll go into it there. But when I do use a subtitle, and the way that I think about this is like, I need you to be able to get what the vibe is, like what is in it for you from the title, either from just the title or with the help and the added context of the subtitle. You understand like, ooh, or you're enticed enough to where you'll read the sales page. So wanted to throw that out there too. Okay. But that's it. So go have fun. Don't be afraid. If you have offers out there that you've already launched, don't be afraid to relaunch them with a different title. I have clients do this all the time. And then guess what? They get much different results. So you get to do that too. But I hope this was helpful for you. If you love the vibe of this conversation and you want to make not only your offers juicy, but everything about how you show up, your energy, your vibe, the conversations that you have so juicy that people are converting fast from cold to sold, I hope you will check out my newest class, Follower to Buyer. I will link it in the show notes. But other than that, I will see you next week. Love you. Bye.